From R-Truth being accidentally shipped off to Los Angeles for next week's Raw to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn and Dolph Ziggler crashing the New Day's return. This week's edition of WWE SmackDown Live, the 11th of June 2019, featured a lot of contrasting moments indeed. The episode itself was unexceptional, which is not a huge problem if the shows are generally good. But when the biggest story from last night's show is how R-Truth got accidentally shipped off to LA, viewers are bound to change channels throughout the episode's entirety. Here are a few interesting observations you may have missed during this week's edition of SmackDown Live. Number 1. Why the current WWE title feud is unable to carry the show by itself. One of the biggest problems on both main roster shows revolves around its main feuds. While the Firefly Funhouse and 24/7's title segments deliver each and every consecutive week, these bits are not meant to headline big shows when it comes to WWE's main roster. Brock Lesnar's sporadic appearances fuels ratings for the Universal Championship scenario on Raw, but when it comes to the WWE Championship on SmackDown Live, is Kofi Kingston commercial enough to hook viewers in on a consistent basis? YouTube views show that R-Truth shenanigans, no matter how good they may be, receive more views than Kofi Kingston's segments every week. On top of that, WWE has more or less decided to play it safe when it comes to booking the WWE title feuds since after this year's WrestleMania. Number 2. Who will answer Aleister Black's ominous open challenge? It is hard to exactly pinpoint the reason as to why Aleister Black needs to ask for an in-ring challenge in the first place. These backstage Aleister Black segments started off as brooding and ominous, but last night, Aleister Black got frustrated over the fact that nobody had accepted his open challenge yet. Why not, though? I personally think that Randy Orton will answer Black's open challenge, since both of these superstars have been wrestling against each other at WWE Live events recently. And it makes sense for weeks of frustration leading into a big feud that could potentially elevate Black's status when it comes to mainstream appeal. Randy Orton is the perfect candidate who checks all the boxes so far. Other than that, an Intercontinental title feud against Finn Balor would be the most balanced choice, and both of these men could put on show-stealing matches every week. But I think no other program would be more appealing than Bray Wyatt answering Aleister Black's challenge. Both of these superstars have had a series of vignettes that seem to be leading towards something big. And a potential feud pitting Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt against each other in the squared circle could be a very interesting scenario. Who do you think should answer Aleister Black's open challenge? Number 3. R-Truth's segment was a great example of why his bits work every week. Before the 24/7's championship was introduced, it would have been hard to believe that R-Truth's weekly shenanigans would garner the most YouTube views out of all segments on SmackDown Live and sometimes Monday Night Raw too. But it is now a reality, and R-Truth's comic timing along with new inventive 24/7's title scenarios every week make these segments very entertaining to watch. Spontaneity is also one of the reasons why people love these segments on both WWE Raw and SmackDown Live. You never know what is going to happen next. For example, R-Truth being accidentally shipped off to Los Angeles for next week's Raw gives us a reason to tune in to find out what happens next. On top of that, intentionally dumb lines like "49,000 feet Celsius" and the "7/11th championship" show us that these bits can work when introduced in the right manner. Nevertheless, even though several main feuds aren't appealing enough for viewers, we never thought that the most interesting segments from the entire show would belong to R-Truth's chaotic 24/7's title shenanigans.